The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com. And now it's time for the Mr. Nailsin Show. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Woman accused of marrying multiple men to obtain thousands of dollars in fraud scheme. Well, I wonder how she did that. Now, there's been a couple of stories where you had the suspect, and what's this about? Remember that story a while back? There was this guy, I think it was two guys, and they stole these flamingos in, Vegas? And they're on camera, like, beating the flamingos up and torturing them and stuff. And they got caught and busted and everything. And yet, they blurred their faces and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And here's this woman marrying all these guys and swindling them. And look at that. They blocked out her face. I mean, I don't know. What if I run into her and she uses her charms and next thing I know, she swindles me? I don't know. A woman is facing multiple felony charges after she allegedly married multiple men to scam them out of large amounts of money. On June 4th, I guess that's Hai Ying Chin, 33, was taken into custody at a Las Vegas restaurant after detectives claimed that her name was linked to multiple marriage fraud schemes. Following her arrest, a Clark County prosecutor stated in court that Chin was married 5 times in a matter of months this year alone. Good Lord. What about the other years? Chin also allegedly obtained 14 different marriage certificates under her name and her alias, Vicky Liang. So, you've been dating a Vicky Liang? Odds are it's her. I mean, I know they blanked out her eyes there, but come on, you know her. Anyway, this has been going on since 2019. While the men whom Chin allegedly swindled began to grow suspicious, especially with all the other guys coming around, of her actions around 2024, the Clark County Marriage Bureau reported her to the police, resulting in the launch of an investigation around the same time. After a short time, Chin would suggest they get married, police said, per the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Chin would provide different stories, some involving sick family members in China, and would start asking for money. Once Chin received the money, she would break all communication with them. Oh, man. That really had to hurt, you know. One man reportedly told police that Chin requested $40,000 from him to help what she claimed was a sick family member in China. And another alleged that she asked him for $23,000 before receiving the money and telling him she didn't want to be married anymore to him. Jeez. Man. Detectives also stated in the police report that they spoke with a man who claimed he had known Chin for 6 months before they got married. He alleged that he gave her $20,000. Well, she gets lower as she goes. You know, it started with $40,000, $23,000, $20,000. Pretty soon, I guess maybe she'll just stay married to the guy. But she got caught. Anyway, $20,000 to help her half-sister, and confirmed they are all still married. According to the police report, a woman who also reportedly claimed to be a victim of one of Chin's check-cashing schemes. Oh, that's right. They can get married, too. Alleging that she was scammed out of $40,000 after Chin wrote her bad checks from a man's account, per the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Chin was charged by Clark County prosecutors with bigamy and theft in August 2024. However, Las Vegas Justice Court records state that she never showed up for her initial court appearance. Huh. So you could do that? Huh. Well, anyway, in June, Metro officers and Homeland Security investigators set up surveillance after receiving a tip that Jen was planning to meet a man at a restaurant to discuss getting married. Boy, does she love planning weddings, you know. There, they arrested her and discovered that she was carrying what appeared to be both a fraudulent passport and a fake Nevada driver's license. Good Lord. Boy, the scams really pile up. Jen, who is currently being held on $100,000 bail. Well, wait a minute. Maybe she has that, you know. Let's see, 40,000, 23, 83, and then she got another 40,000 from that other broad. Didn't she? Yeah. All right. She can post that. In the Clark County Detention Center has been charged with 5 felony counts of bigamy and 2 counts of intent to utter a fictitious bill note check. Well, she previously faced charges of forgery and theft between $25,000 and $100,000. Those charges have since been dropped. Huh? But why? I mean, that's essentially, well, I mean, that's what she was doing to the woman with the 40,000, right? I mean, I don't know. It says she gave her that are bad checks. Yeah. So they're dropping that one, I guess. I mean, the rest of it is that, you know, she lied to these idiots and then she's marrying all of them. Probably bigamy is the biggest one they got her on. Yeah, those guys aren't getting their money back. So still, why protect her identity like this? That's strange. I mean, they got the fake ID image of her. Don't they have a mugshot? Yeah. And they got the Vicky Liang, which is the alias. It's not her real name. So they think, oh, there might be a real Vicky Liang out there. We don't want to. But, oh, I see. You think everybody thinks they all look well. Well, anyway, gee, it's all sad, you know. You meet some woman and just overnight, she is like the woman of your dreams. And hell, you're in Vegas, so why not get married? And then did they get a honeymoon? That's the real question. He's like, yeah, whatever, let's get to it. And he said, oh, you know what? I don't know that I'm going to ever be able to get into the mood. Why, what do you mean? Well, my sister's sick and she lives in China. Oh, that's too bad. But if only she had $40,000, she might get better. I'd feel so much better if I had that. And, you know, maybe I'd actually get in the mood. So he's like, well, okay, $40,000. I guess. And then, thanks. And then once the check cleared, she wiped her ass of him. You know, I mean, it's terrible. It's a horrible way to feel like you've been well disposed of, you know. So it's all very sad. But shouldn't you have known better? I don't know. I mean, how long was the courtship? Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Be on the lookout for. Well, I tell you to be on the lookout. We don't know what she looks like. Not really. What if she skates on this one? I mean, they're dropping charges all over the place. Yeah.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Next time on My Brother's Keeper.
Hey, where the mayonnaise? They no mayonnaise in here, no? Where the hell the mayonnaise? You gotta have mayonnaise somewhere in this house. Uh-oh. Where the hell are you now? What? What'd I do now?
Damn it, Daryl. Don't give me no attitude. It ain't always about what you do, but what you allow to happen.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Just now, I sat down in my chair to watch a movie, I had my beer and my chips ready to go when I saw on the rug a smear of feces with worms crawling in it. I like to gag. Shut up! Shut up! And answer me this. Did you let that mangy mutt into this house after I told you not to? Answer me, damn it!
Yes, I did. It was raining and I felt sorry for him. I'm sorry about the buttworms.
That's next time on My Brother's Keeper on TLC. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Woman had a celebratory Sunday after torching her ex-boyfriend's dream barn up upon learning he was chatting up another woman. Okay. She didn't like that. But at least in this case, the only victim is a barn. A Wisconsin woman was recently arrested after setting fire to her ex-boyfriend's barn. So was he already the ex at the time of this? So it's like, hey, lady, you guys split up. He wants to talk to some other babe. That's his business. Donna Jo Franklin, 59, stands accused of one count of arson of a building without the owner's consent. Well, yeah. Most people don't want you burning their barns down. I mean, look, I admit, mine needs some work, but don't you burn that down. Anyway, with an increased penalty because the victim is elderly. The underlying incident occurred on June 10th on North 8th Avenue in Sturgeon Bay, a small town some 45 miles northeast of Green Bay. Police and firefighters responded to the scene just before 9 p.m., and an investigation by fire officials determined the fire was suspicious. The barn did not house animals, and no one was present on the property, the police department said in a press release. The responding unit saw the barn engulfed in flames. Well, Franklin was arrested and charged. Investigators say the defendant confessed, but only after offering several other narratives about what happened that day. And I guess she realized, yeah, you're not believing any of this, are you? Okay, I did it. On the night of the fire, the barn owner was asked who might have been responsible. He explained how he had electrical work done last winter, before mentioning that he and his girlfriend had recently broken up. All right, they broke up. What a bitch, you know? The barn owner allegedly said Franklin originally planned to move out on June 14th, but she left on June 6th after removing nearly all of the supplies and food. The man said he had told her to take whatever she wanted because most of it belonged to her anyway. When first interviewed by law enforcement, Franklin feigned ignorance. Instead, she said she enjoyed spending time at the barn while looking at nature. When quizzed about her movements that particular day, she allegedly said she worked there the first half of the day, went home, then went to a bingo night, and ended the night at Culver's Restaurant, a Midwestern chain known for burgers and frozen custard. Well, later law enforcement met with fire investigators and learned the fire started on the north side of the barn. This raised red flags, because that side of the barn had no electrical boxes. Well, Franklin met with investigators again. This time, she allegedly began by saying, I want to know what you already have already. Then came the second version of her story. This time, the defendant allegedly said she only visited the property on the day of the inferno so she could borrow an extension cord, and estimated she was only there for about 5 minutes. The woman allegedly went on to insist she would never intentionally damage the property because she invested her own blood and sweat in it. Franklin said she and the victim had, at one point, intended to turn the property into their residence. After those alleged protestations, an investigator asked Franklin about something she threw away at Culver's. The defendant first said she had simply thrown away a napkin and tissue. But this version of events did not last long. "You can charge me now because you know what it was," Franklin allegedly said after being repeatedly questioned on the issue. At one point, the defendant allegedly added, "Just arrest me." Finally, the full confession came out. Franklin immediately threw away a red flicker she had used to set insulation paper alight while she was at the barn that day. And she allegedly said once the fire spread, she went to Culver's, where she threw the flicker away. The defendant went on to explain that she only moved out and broke up with the victim after she found text messages to another woman on his cell phone. The old guy's still going after it, you know. This revelation destroyed the dream of the barn, Franklin allegedly told the investigators. Once the pair broke up, the defendant said she realized the dream was no longer hers, that she did not want the owner to share the dream with another woman, and that if she could not have the dream, then another woman was not going to get the dream either. So, ultimately, she was in love with a barn, you know, but she couldn't be with the barn anymore, so she wasn't going to let that floozy get it. And I guess when you look at it that way, she got what she wanted.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. So, Tammy, what about you and me?
Seriously?
Yes, from the producers of Really? And So That Just Happened comes the new hit sitcom, Seriously?
I know how to cook. I've got a microwave.
Seriously? Get ready to slap some knees and grab your belly because the laughter will never let you go. No, seriously. Monday nights on NBC, right after Can't Even, and followed by, So, are you gonna finish that? This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Woman says she got herpes from Arby's food. An Arby's worker in Oklahoma has been charged with spitting in the food of a customer, an alleged contamination that the female victim says resulted in her contracting oral herpes. Okay. So in late March, Jenica Church, 38, placed an order at the restaurant in Broken Bow, a city in the state's southeastern corner. Church, a bartender who had just gotten off work that Saturday evening, waited in the drive-thru line for her four for $10 sandwich meal. Investigators charged that while Church's order was being prepared, worker Amanda Hendricks, 38, spit in the food. Arby's surveillance video, an officer reported, showed Hendricks removing meat from the slicer, which she lifts to neck level and leans her head down, and you can see the saliva leave her mouth and go into the sandwich. Hendricks then continues making the other 3 sandwiches and sending out the order. Church ate one of the sandwiches and shared the remaining food with relatives. After consuming the Arby's grub, Church says she developed symptoms of an oral herpes infection, including painful lesions, cold sores. In a civil lawsuit, Church states that she has tested positive for herpes simplex virus type 1. Suspecting that her food may have been contaminated, Church contacted cops, telling officers that rumors were spreading in town that Hendricks had been bragging about spitting in her food. After serving a search warrant on Arby's for surveillance tapes, investigators sought to question Hendricks. After agreeing to an interview at police headquarters, Hendricks called to say she could not come in due to not having transportation. While explaining her no-show, Hendricks referred to the police obtaining the Arby's footage and reportedly told an officer that she was not going to waste my time. Yes, she did it. Hendricks was subsequently charged with poisoning food and or medicine with intent to injure, a felony. Her rap sheet includes convictions for narcotics possession, credit card fraud, receiving stolen property, and driving under the influence. So you're supposed to do the background check before you hire people. I guess they don't. I don't know. In Church's June 16th lawsuit against Hendricks and Arby's, Hendricks ain't got nothing. You're going to have to sue Arby's. She alleged that Hendricks was allowed to work in the restaurant despite having an active herpes outbreak with visible lesions. As a result, Church now lives in constant fear of transmitting herpes to her husband and two minor children. Well, I'm not really seeing the lesions in this. Oh, wait. I think, maybe right there. The upper lip. Yeah. Well, good Lord. So, nothing in the story that says she knows this woman, So, I don't know. Is she just doing this all the time? How many other people? And they thought, it was bound to happen sooner or later because, and they don't realize, no, it was Arby's, But, so she 4 sandwiches, and the lady doing the order, she got the sandwich. I mean, what are the odds? Even if she did know this witness doesn't particularly like her or whatever, and I'm assuming she brought the other sandwiches to her family so the kids could have gotten it. What a psychotic bitch, But she already had that rep sheet, and you hired her to work. Yeah. You feel like getting some Arby's, though? Yeah. Damn it. Or, what was the husband thinking? What the hell? No! And then, the footage comes back and he's like, oh, shit, it's true. Well, all right, then. Yeah. Possibly. But, okay, she's caught, but damn. Jeez. What a disgusting piece of shit is this. Oh, my God.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. This week on Secrets, Mike and Sharon's marriage faces a shameful crisis.
Damn it, Mike. You've got to do something about your bedwetting problem. You're costing us a fortune in mattresses.
Don't you think I know that? You think I like walking around in damp drawers?
Secrets.
And Samantha gives in to her long-denied feelings for E.J. Wells.
I shouldn't want you, let alone love you after you blackmailed me into marrying you. But how can I deny that I get juicy down south at the sound of your British accent?
Oh, I know. Now remember, back when you faked your death and had to disguise yourself as a man, you created a male persona and called yourself Sam, and no one, not even your family, suspected you. Remember?
Yes?
I want you to put on your Sam disguise again and wear this freshly lubed strap-on. I'll be in the bedroom on all 4s.
Secrets!
Meanwhile, Chloe, desperate to hold on to her billionaire husband, has decided to keep her miscarriage a secret. But her doctor has other ideas.
Damn it, Dr. Stroker. I'd do anything to keep my husband in the dark.
Anything? Secrets, weekdays, on CUMTV Daytime. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Man pointed gun at nurses taking a break outside the hospital and warned them not to take another step. So I guess if they just stood there, they were okay? I don't know. A Michigan man allegedly threatened to shoot nurses who were taking a break outside the hospital where they worked. Walter Dwight Smith, 31, is in custody at the Macomb County Jail after police said he threatened to shoot 3 nurses while he was on the phone with someone. Okay. Did someone say, "I dare you to point your gun at those nurses"? Oh, yeah? And he did. Now look at him. Well, anyway, Smith was walking around Henry Ford Hospital in Warren, Michigan after midnight on June 3rd. Smith was reportedly agitated while having a conversation with someone on his phone when he walked past the hospital's emergency room ambulance bay, where 3 nurses were taking a break outside. Macomb Daily reported that Smith arrived at the Detroit Federal Probation Office on June 2nd for a random drug and alcohol test. He reportedly admitted to drinking alcohol days earlier, which was a violation of his probation in connection with previous charges, and was released. Hours later, he was reportedly outside the Henry Ford Hospital emergency room and having a heated conversation with an unknown person. According to police, 3 nurses were taking a break outside the hospital at a table around 1 a.m. on June 3rd. When Smith walked past them, the nurses told police that Smith was pacing and getting agitated on the phone during an argument. As the tone of the call escalated, Smith allegedly approached the nurses at their break table. Police said as Smith got closer to the nurses, he began yelling at the other person on the phone. "You think I'm fucking playing? I got 3 nurses here I can shoot." Huh? Smith allegedly started counting down from 6 and produced a black handgun. The nurses told police that Smith pointed the gun at them and told them, "If you take another step, I will shoot you." Smith then apparently got another call on his phone and left the scene on foot. Oh, so, someone else called in. And he hung up the first call and talked to that one. And that changed his whole mood and stuff, and he was like on to something else and forgot all about the nurses. Well, anyway, after Smith left, one of the nurses called 911. Officers from the Warren Police Department located Smith later the same day and arrested him. Smith was charged with 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon, carrying a concealed weapon, weapon possession by a prohibited person, brandishing a weapon in public, driving without a valid license, and 3 counts of felony firearm in connection with the June 3rd incident. Well, he remains in custody at the Macomb County Jail, where he's being held on $500,000 bond. Well, he's being held on a retainer by the U.S. Marshals in the event that he postponed. Yeah, he probably won't, though. So I don't see how this helped him at all. I mean, he was already upset, I'm guessing, by the drug test that didn't go his way. And so he decides to threaten some nurses because they were there. And then he gets another call and forgets all about that and leaves. Sounds like that's how it unfolded. And now he's in jail. Probably going to prison for a significant amount of time. So, I just don't see how that works out for him, other than, he gets a place to stay. For a while.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. The views and opinions expressed during the Mr. Nailsin Show do not necessarily reflect those held by RadioMisfits.com. So, any complaints and or comments should be sent to @Mr. Nailsin on Twitter, where they will be promptly ignored and or blocked.